Hello, welcome to my marriage and hi. This is a weekly podcast where we have guests come in to talk about their marriage experience. Today, I am in a community called Okpara Waterside in Delta State, Nigeria. And we have our first guest on the show. She happens to be my dear friend, from way back. She's here to tell us about our marriage experiences. I just want you to sit back, listen, and learn from our own experiences. So, Martha, over to you. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Sejenabi Mata. I'm from Okpara Waterside, Delta State. I studied biotechnology in Delta State, Abraka, where I graduated with second class upper. After I graduated, I left and went back to Warri, where I lived before, and I continued there. From there, I started working as a stylist. Since there was no job in Nigeria, I started with that even as a graduate. So after then, I met my husband and we got married. So when we married, we left there. I left there to Haley. I've been married for 10 years now.
Tell us about your marriage experiences. What were your experiences in marriage?
Well, marriage is a beautiful thing, and many people that have not married, they want to come into marriage. Well, my own experience in marriage was I experienced the sweetness, I experienced the bitterness of marriage. So I would say marriage was not too good for me. And when I married at first, the first year, it was nice, but the second year, in fact, the experience was hell. I never thought that I would get married and start maybe suffering like that. But though, what really happened in my marriage was I later noticed that I was desperate about marriage, and then when my husband came, I didn't really search. When he came and we just met and we dated for like few months, and then I got pregnant. And because I was pregnant and I wouldn't want to, get married out of wedlock, we just agreed to get married. Yes, I don't want to give birth out of wedlock.
Yeah.
So I decided to get married. So when we talked about marriage, he agreed and we started planning about marriage, and that was how we got married. So after marriage, the first year it was nice, but the second year, it was not really easy on me. It looks like I was married, but it was not married.
So you were not married.
It was like I was not married, because when I'm supposed to be with my husband, I will be lonely, I will be alone, because he's the kind of person that when he goes out, he does not come back. And he wouldn't even tell me that I'm not coming back today, I'm going to work. And maybe before I will see him, he started it one day, maybe another day, he took 2 steps like that, 3 days, and that's all. And I imagine when somebody comes back home and maybe you as a wife, you welcome your husband, you welcome, what really happened now? You just stayed where you were. You couldn't even call to tell me that you are not coming back. You just say, I beg, without even explaining anything, I wouldn't get any information, and he wouldn't even want me to press. And I would try to ask more, but he would never take anything serious. And that was how we continued. In fact, I started seeing things that I'm not supposed to see in my marriage. We were not working together. It was like two people walking in different directions. I was going forward, maybe he was going his own way. And he wouldn't even plan with me or do anything with me. Or maybe if he wants to do things, he will not tell me that I want to do this kind of thing. But later, maybe I will hear from friends, I will see him doing something that he didn't even discuss with me. So I was just like in the marriage, like
Just existing there.
yes, I was just existing in the marriage while he was doing his own thing. I was doing my own thing. And then along the line, I gave birth to the first child, my first daughter, she's 10 years now, and again the second one. After the second child, in fact, the worst started happening. I was thinking that I could manage my marriage. I was saying maybe he would change, let me manage, let me see. But I don't think that any woman can change a man, because the better thing for someone to look into his marriage is that you search well, look into the man. In fact, know him before you decide to get married to him. And then, which I did not do. So I couldn't change him. Things became worse, problem here and there. I would just be at home. I would see people come and tell me, ah, your husband did this, your husband did that. He had been arrested, you know. I would start running and trying to bail him out from cell due to, his way of life. So that was my experience. Though, but even despite the fact that he was doing all these things, I never thought of leaving my marriage. Not until one day the struggle was too much and he just decided to, like, let me go and hustle somewhere. And then there was this woman that came and said, come, your husband, let him follow me to Rivers State. He can hustle there and take care of you people. I said, ah, if it is so, because then I was on my own. I was just trying to make things. I was teaching in Ugeli. I was trying to make the marriage work out. But since he was jobless due to the problem here and there, I said, okay, if he's going to help. So he left for Port Harcourt. So when he went to Port Harcourt, I was there with my children trying. I already have 4 children as at then, 4 girls. So I was teaching in one of the private schools. I manage, I do some small business. I try to fix my hands in small petty business to see how I can make a living for my children. But despite the fact I was here, thinking that my husband was somewhere and then he would call back and check on us. That was how. At first, when he went for the first year, he was calling, he was asking after us. But after the first year, he stopped calling. He never called again. I was only the one doing the calling. And even when I call him, even if he sees my call, he will not return my calls. Maybe after 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, 1 week, I'll call again. He will still not pick. So he picked my calls at his own will, and he wouldn't even return my calls when he see my missed calls. And that was how it started. And gradually, he forgot us. So I was just there struggling with my children. I was there the first year alone, house rent accumulated, landlord would come and trouble me, disturb me. Ah, where's your husband? And I would say, ah, landlord, I've not heard from him. Ah, how will you say you're not hearing from your husband? It's a lie, it's a lie. So many people started calling me liar. Even the people that he did business with, that he left and ran away. Those people will come and trouble me, disturb me here and there, that they're going to arrest me. And, you know, it was hell though. In fact, I was down, but with God being my helper, I complained to his family. None of them showed any interest. None of them did any positive thing to make the marriage work out. So I complained to my family as well. So I was still not willing to leave my marriage. I was still there, hoping that one day he will come. The first year passed. The second year I was there. Landlord and the rest, we were now owing house rent for like 3 years, and the different problems, people threatening to arrest me because of my husband, and I was not hearing from him. So I had to decide. My family said that I can no more continue there in Hugeli. So I left and I came back to my community of Waterside, where I stay now with my children, to see how I can gather myself and make ends meet. So when I came here, I applied in the Anglican Grammar School, where I teach now presently. I teach biology and basic science. So I've been here now going to 2 years with my children, trying to make a living for them and give them a better future. So presently, I'm still alone with my children for 4 years now. I've still not seen him.
That's really sad. But I want to ask, during the course of your conversation, you said something about you talking to him about marriage. Are you trying to say that you came up with the idea of both of you getting married?
Not really, not really. It's just that, then I was pregnant. So I was not thinking of getting rid of my baby. So I said, no, I don't want to abort. So I just said, okay, let me hear from him. After all, I've been dating for some time, and I asked him. I said, now that I'm pregnant,
What's next?
what's next? He said I should keep the baby. I shouldn't get rid of it. Ah, I said, but I wouldn't want to give birth out of wedlock. He said, yes, I should keep it. So now I'm keeping the baby. What's next? He said, okay, he will see my people. So he went, he saw my people, and we got married.
Before you got married, how was your communication like? How was your communication like?
It was not
Were you
that
people
good.
really communicating?
No, no. The communication was not that good. It was not. When I talk, he wouldn't talk.
So he's not the talking type.
He does not talk. Like when you are talking to him, like discussing something serious, he will just like,
Even before your marriage.
don't worry. Yes, even before my marriage, he did it before my marriage. He did that. It
And you
was
did
after
not.
my marriage, I was like, because I was pregnant. Before the pregnancy, we were just dating, and I I didn't even know that we were going to get married. We were just dating, and along the line, when I got pregnant, that was when the marriage thing came up.
So meaning it was when you got pregnant that you took him seriously.
Yes, that was when the seriousness came, because I was pregnant. And when he said okay that I should keep the baby, that was when we started planning our marriage. So there was no time to really take note of all those small small things he was doing as at then.
You were all about let me just get
Let me just
married
get
and
married, and
stuff like that.
yes, yes.
Most times people are just so focused on let me get married, and missing out of the very important thing before the marriage. And most times when women get pregnant, they are scared of, being a single mother. And eventually they end up becoming a single mother.
Yes.
And not just with one child, with multiple kids. And that's one fear that has driven a lot of people into marriages was that almost ruined their life. That's something I think is happening in our society today. And I think that's something that happened to you because you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
pregnant and you just felt, oh, because I'm pregnant, this is just okay. It's an avenue for us to just come together as husband and wife, not fully knowing the person you were getting involved
Yes,
with.
yes.
So now that things have turned out this way, what is the way forward? What's your plan?
It was not my wish to leave the marriage. I was still, even when I left Ugeli to my community, I was still waiting for him to come. Even when my family called him, he refused to come. He didn't come. So I was just there like that with my children. So ever since he have not come, and now it's close to 4 years, going to 4 years now without him. I'm just with my children, and now I count myself as a single mother without a husband. My family now, they are making move to return the diary so that I can move on with my life.
This is a very sad story. In the recent, nobody goes into marriage, and plan to get out of it. But what you do before getting into marriage is very important. I cannot overemphasize the importance of knowing who you are getting married to, not just by what they told you, by your own observation. What you observe about this person. There are some persons that don't have respect for anybody. If you are with such a person and thinking that this person will respect you, it's a lie. So you need to know who you are settling with. Marriage is a lifetime commitment. It's not something you want to jump into and then jump out. Marriage has its own issues. So when you are with the right person, you work together as partner. You're supposed to be partners in marriage, working together, growing together. That is what marriage should be about. When you have the right partner, you work less. You put in less effort and you just see things work effortlessly because you are with the right person. But when you are not with the right person, you see yourself struggling to make things work, and eventually it may even crash. You know. So Martha, I want to say thank you so much for coming out today to share your story with us, to tell us your experience in marriage. It is so unfortunate that marriage did not work out well for you, but it's not the end of the road. Life continues. Marriage is not the end of life. So beautiful part is you still have your life intact and you have your children. You have 4 beautiful children, and you just need to move on with your life like you've decided.